Hi Amit, welcome to WebEngage.
Hi.
Thank you so much for taking out your time and agreeing to do this. For everybody, my name is Chirag. I lead the content marketing and special projects team here at WebEngage. Amit, for everybody who's viewing us for the first time, if you could introduce yourself, a little bit about your background, where you come from, and what do you do currently.
Yeah, so my name is Amit. I've been into customer retention and loyalty for almost 10 years now. I worked heavily in e-commerce, so being Jabong, Tata Clicks, Geo, the Luxury Closet, and now currently working with the first time in OTT and working with the Hotstar as managing their retention and to their international expansion as well. So yeah, that's short and
So, education-wise, where do you come from?
So I've done my master in computer application. I always wanted to be a software engineer. Even my first job, I was building a SMTP to send email to spam people, and to do all the email marketing on the purchase data.
Nice.
So I was building those setups for one of the real estate market. And when there was a guy who's sending the email, he left. So it's kind of okay. You are building a software. Why not you only send the email campaign? So I started sending email campaign, and because I know all the back infra of the email, so I know how to control my bounce email, how to control all the infra issues that the people usually face. And yes, I think the next month the sales, the leads started coming on top, and for a sudden I realized that this job is pretty easy than the developing something
Nice.
from backend.
Nice. So from engineering to coding to sending emails to eventually retaining customers, right?
Yeah.
So obviously that wasn't your conscious career choice. It just happened.
It happened because my boss said that till the time the new guy comes in, you just take over the this marketing part as well. So I just took it, but yeah, that's.
And then you loved it. You never left it.
I never left it. Yes.
Interesting. Nice. So obviously there must have been a lot of learnings along the way, right? With so many brands you worked with, different industries, and your career transition. What is that one thing that you learned very late in your career? If you would learn probably earlier on, would have changed your game altogether. What would that be?
I think the time this transition was happening from being in marketing to come into the CRM, I was in Jabong. So then it was more of a mass blasting campaign because there is say the more campaign you send, the more people will come on platform. So I think which it took a time to learn. Frequency doesn't matter. But back in time. It was that we used to believe ki this frequency, this sending a less campaign, sending a personalized campaign, it's not relevant for India market. It's in India, you just send mass campaign and people will respond. I think that's the one of thing we realize a very little too time.
Interesting. So would you say that keeping your frequency in check and not spamming people, at least when it comes to India market, is a myth?
Yeah. So because the checks we used to keep how many people are unsubscribing for an email, and when we see none, so okay, we assume that okay, people are fine to receiving an email, but that's not true. You also have to look at your engagement. You also have to look at your overall retention metrics as well. Your unsubscribing, getting complaints on Twitter is not the sign of that you are not spamming. So I think that's the biggest learning, and I think biggest thing.
Interesting. And that's true for every other channel as well? Or just for all channels?
All channels.
So
all channels.
The more number of campaigns you're running, the more revenue you get.
Yeah, that was that back in time our assumption, but that's not true. You have to set a right frequency, you have to set up a right relevancy as well. It's not true like one content will relevant to one person will be relevant to the other people as well. So it's difficult to deploy a content which is relevant to a mass.
Fair enough. And would you say the market today has changed from what it was 7-8 years ago? People are now more conscious about who's sending me messages and how many times and stuff like that.
Yeah. Market have been matured. So I think the mass campaign, the full blast campaign, I think that's keyword have gone. People are much mature. People are more digital heavy, so they understand that what content you are sending, and if it is not relevant, they'll not gonna waste their time. They just, and of course the time is the spending time on such campaign from the customer is something is been reduced. So you have a very limited
So
time.
take it from somebody who's running retention at Hotstar. The time to spray campaigns is over. You need to get hyper personalized and send very contextual messages. Right?
Yeah.
So we keep that in mind. Now, since you've come a long way in your career, 10 plus years in retention, I'm sure there are still challenges because retention is a fairly new vertical within organizations that's coming up. People are now taking retention very seriously.
Yeah.
So obviously there are a lot of challenges in terms of people, processes, maybe even personal problems, right? For me, I cannot focus on my physical fitness because I don't have that dedication, which happens to hinder my performance from time to time. If you could change that one thing today across these three spectrums, what would that be?
I think it's people management. I think because for me, CRM is a very sensitive channel. 1% of mistake will going to spoil your brand reputations. So I think how well your team is organized, how well your team is disciplined to do this, run this campaign. That's the most important factor. Even if you're sending a less campaign but sending a right campaign, that's something is I'll more precise on that front.
Got it. And if you're hiring for your team, right? Again, people management, hiring for your team. What is that one skill set that you look for in somebody that you're hiring?
So yeah, if it is a fresher, if I'm hiring for a fresher, I look up to him how disciplined he is. So I give him a random task and I just see how disciplined, how he's doing those tasks. Are he or she following the timeline which is given to them? How are they they're not very quickly to just do and complete the task, and they're not also not very late kind of people that took a lot of time to complete the task. So so how disciplined they are when anything comes to them, and how patient they are, because that's the key. I think that's a key attribute that we require from a candidate from a CRM point of view, because it's a heavily manual driven channel where you have to be patient, at the same time you have to be in a discipline as well. So yeah.
So somebody who can sit in the driver's seat at the same time be patient with eyes on his head, things will sail through. Got it. So with that said, we come to the next segment of this conversation, which is never have I ever. I will ask you a bunch of questions. You can choose to answer them or choose to ignore them. If you answer them, if you could just justify why have you done it or why you've never done it, so that our viewers get some context about that, right? So my first question to you is, never have I ever created a failed campaign and then blamed it on others.
Failed campaign? No, so I have created a failed campaign, but of course I cannot blame to other, because it has all the logs, so we cannot fake it.
All right. So he is an elite class of marketers. We marketers usually do this. Hey, copywriters do not do a really good job, or the integrations failed or something like that. But he's an elite class of retention marketers. Cool. Never have I ever sent a campaign with failed personalization tags.
No, I did in my very initial days. I goofed off some campaigns. So,
and did it backfire?
Yeah, it did. So I think the most common use case, you end up using a wrong personalization first name. So of course the people, not every people put their name. A lot of people put their XY name. So this just gone and appeared to people inbox. People started coming on Twitter, social media.
Oh God, must have been a nightmare for your social media team.
Yeah. This is after my life. Because they're not believing that the people had put this first name. They're just believing that I had put this first. Just naming them as this XY, FY. So that's
Okay. Never have I ever tweaked my reports to save my ass.
No, I have tweaked my report.
Okay.
I have to do it.
Okay. And what was it? Did you ever get caught?
Not really. It was not a very big tweet. It was some minor modification, because it was. I've never been caught.
Lucky you. Never have I ever sprayed a campaign to achieve my month-end numbers.
Yeah, that too you have to do it.
You have to, right?
do it. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
If
you
you
have to
tell
do
me you've
it.
never done it, I would have judged you right now. Never have I ever picked a bone with my manager because he asked me to run a stupid campaign or a campaign did not make sense.
Yes, many times, but yeah, well, you have to do the campaign. Boss is always right. You cannot
Okay.
say.
So it's either you convince them or you get convinced, and 80% of the times it's you getting convinced and not being
Yeah,
able to
yeah, yeah.
convince them.
Matlab, CRM is all about being subjective opinion. You know, for
Mhm.
some it's doesn't make any sense. For some it makes sense. So of course, to you.
So how do you solve for that subjectivity? Do you prefer doing tests and experiments, or do you rely on past data, or do you feel, hey, I've done this in the past, this has failed, this is not going to work, I'm not going to do it?
Yeah, yeah. Mostly, yeah, if I've done in the past, so yeah, that's something I'll bring the data that this is what we have done already, and this is the result. If you have not done in the past, and then my manager or the other person want to do it, of course, there's the other way to do it. We'll do it with the A/B test, or we'll do it on a control group. We'll not send it to everyone. We just depend. It's how sensitivity of the campaign is, and how many folks wanted to do that campaign.
That also circles back on your point about people management. Right. It's not just about downwards people management, it's also about upwards. And most of the times it's upwards.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I have a tussle with my manager too almost every day. We'll agree to disagree on certain things and then we'll reach a conclusion. And yeah. But with that said, thank you so much, Amit, for taking out your time and agreeing to do this.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure our listeners got a lot to learn from you. We will connect offline very soon. We'll pop some beers and have a more candid conversation around this. With that said, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to seeing you soon.